we take advantage of this beautiful month, Shahr al-Quran. So tazkiyat al-nafs, you can't really rejuvenate the soul if you don't have the purity of the soul, right? And so there's a surah all of us know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes 11 oaths in this surah. 11 times. There's no other spot in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes 11 oaths. Which surah is that? Yes. And how does that end after those? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Right? So the winner is the one that has the purity. Subhanallah. So even the worst tyrants of all, who is? Ali, who's the worst that we know? Huh? Even Fir'aun, he had a way out. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَقُلْ هَلْ لَكَ إِلَّا أَن تَزَكَّى. Right? So even Fir'aun, the worst of the worst, if he had the purity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even gave him, the way out. And this concept of tazkiyah, this is why the Prophet ﷺ was even sent. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to the unlettered ones the Prophet ﷺ to teach them, or for the tazkiyah. So this thing with the purification of the nafs, of the ruh, it's very, very important. So now before I get into any more details, I just want to give just so everybody knows the terminology, because in the Quran we have a nafs, we have a ruh, we have the qalb. So if you look at the nafs is all encompassing, right? Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses it as the soul and or as the body, right? Allah yatawaffa al-anfusa hina mawtiha, right? So Allah takes the soul at time of death. Or the ayah we all know, kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut, right? So that's used the body. So that's just so I want everybody to be clear, so when we're talking about certain things. And then when we talk about the ruh, so you have the nafs, so think about the Venn diagram, from your school, you have the Venn diagram, you have the nafs, and then inside the ruh, and then the qalb, okay? So the nafs encompasses all three. So when we talk about the ruh, of course we all know, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ, right? They ask you about the soul. So what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? وَالْرُوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. So this is knowledge that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. Then the following verse, وَمَا أُوتِيتُ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. I have not given of the knowledge but a little bit, right? So subhanAllah, look, right now we think we're the most advanced, artificial intelligence, as he mentioned, and things, but even 30, 40 years ago, there was no internet. 100, 200 years, they thought they were the most advanced. So subhanAllah, in another 50 years, 100 years, we won't even we'll be like, oh, look at these primitive people, they thought AI was something. And then, of course, the ruh is what gives, the body the life. And then the spiritual thinking is that qalb, right? The Prophet ﷺ said, there is a piece in the body that if it's pure, the whole body is pure. But if it's corrupt, the entire body is corrupt, and that is the heart, right? So this is, everybody knows now, we have the nafs, we have the ruh, and we have the qalb. So the objective is, we have Ramadan coming, it's a beautiful example for us. We want to try to add things, positive things in our life that will increase the spirituality, and we want to try to eliminate things that create negative spirituality. Just like they mentioned yesterday, if you have any ill feelings towards anybody, this is the time to push all that, to side. So we want to have kind of a good balance, between these things. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're very fortunate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us on the fitrah, right? فطرة الناس التي فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليها. The fitrah that our innate nature Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put us. So our default is to be good, right? Our soul wants to be good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put that in us. And so when you try to accomplish this goal of purifying, the soul, rejuvenating the soul, who are we going to ask, right? We're going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He tells us, فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, right? Don't ascribe tazkiyah to yourself. Allahu a'lamu biman ittaqa. He knows what's inside, right? Nobody knows but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what's inside. And again, there's a beautiful verse in Surah An-Nur, وَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ وَرَحْمَتُهُ ما زكى عليكم من أحد ولكن الله يزكي من يشاء. So had it not been for the grace and the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can't get tazkiyah without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So different ways. I'm going to give you some, there's terminology, but I'll give you some practical things. So some of the best ways to get that purity is to have that alone time with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Let's deactivate, these social medias, these cell phones and things. Get away from the family. Have alone time, just you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, we know the best time to do that is usually, in the time of tahajjud, maybe 2, 3, whatever time. But during the day, subhanAllah, we get distracted with our work and family and this. So usually the time of tahajjud is we find it to be the best time. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ. Right? So you have that time with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where you spend the time. وَبِالْأَسْحَارِ يَسْتَغْفِرُونَ. Right? In these nights, this is where they ask for istighfar. And then the ayah in Surah Al-Muzammil, what is it? إِنَّ نَاشِئَةَ اللَّيْلِ هِيَ أَشَدُّ وَطْئًا وَأَقْوَمُ قِيلًا. Right? So in these hours is a time that's hard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it's hard to get up. Right, but this is what's going to give you, that steadfastness, the strengthening of that during these times, right? So, those are some of the, practical ways that we can do that. Even when it comes to sadaqah, right? When we're talking about this, doing it alone. Alaikum salam. إن تبدوا الصدقات فنعما هي. Right? And when it comes after that, Abu Hashim, وَإِن تُخْفُوهَا وَتُؤْتُوهَا فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Right? So yes, فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. So if you hide it, right? So it's good if you give, but of course because you want to motivate others. But if you hide it and do it in secret, right? It's better. It's better for you. So even in sadaqah, it comes to that. So there's a few things. When we talk about ibadah and this. We're talking just for those that just came. We're talking about tazkiyat al-nafs, rejuvenation of the soul, everything. So I know you're late, but just say no. If you hang out with this guy, Huh?
Do we do push-up?
Push-up? I'm going to give you a funny story, but then I'm going to take my time. I'll tell you during the dessert time.
You are recording.
Huh?
You are recording.
But it's going to be a little bit tangent.
Huh?
2-minute tangent?
That's fine.
Okay.
He'll allow it.
Okay. So subhanAllah, the push-up, you brought this to my mind. Okay, so I'm at ISNA. Everybody knows ISNA in Chicago. This is 2 years ago. So usually in the morning before the kids and family gets up, I want to review my Quran. So I leave the room, they're all sleeping. So I just find the chair next to the elevator. At all these hotels, they have the chair. So I was sitting in the chair, and it was Sunday. Sunday I do Surah An-Nisa. So and I was sitting, I'm just reviewing. And this brother comes up to me. Oh, brother, are you reading Quran? I said, yes. He's like, do you mind if I sit and listen to you? I said, yeah, of course, So I'm reciting and going. He's like, MashaAllah, you're going so fast. I said, well, I have it memorized. I'm just kind of reviewing. I'm just trying to keep it fresh. He's like, SubhanAllah, can you just tell me where you are? What are you reading? It was the first with the inheritance and all. So I was explaining. He's like, do you mind? He's like, this may be a little strange. Can you read a page and I do push-ups while you're reading? Can I do some push-ups next to you while you're reading a page? I said, تفضل, go ahead.
You do whatever you want.
I said, yeah, go ahead. So he said, I'm going to do push-ups until you finish that page. I said, okay.
Oh my God.
So I'm reading the page, I'm going.
Slow down.
And then he said, are you almost done? I said, no, I'm finishing the page. He's like, but I'm getting tired. I said, well, you don't have to go, you can stop, So anyway, subhanAllah. So then after the kids woke up, I told Aisha and the kids the story. Yusuf, subhanAllah, said, first thing he's like, Baba, that wasn't a human, that was an angel.
Oh.
He's like, because a human won't do something like that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala must have sent an angel just to see,
Like 100 push-ups?
Well, I'm not counting and I'm focusing on my, So anyway, that's the tangent, sorry.
That's not what I meant.
That makes push-ups.
Yeah, no, but he said push-ups, and so there's a reminder.
For those who come late, there's push-up.
Yeah.
How did it go?
So we're talking about the tahajjud and things you can do. So you can have ibadah of the tongue. طبعا, there's no better dhikr, dua of the verses of the Quran, right? We have ibadah of the body, prayer, salawat, zakah, ibadah of the heart, right? So that's asking for Allah for repentance and things. Ibadah
Reflection.
Yes, reflection, tadabbur, tafakkur, tafakkur, thinking about our shortcomings, imagining ourselves in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our blessings, right? We always just asking for things that, we need this, Allah give me this, give me this, give me this, but we should also at the same time be thankful, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything He's given us. So this was quick on the tazkiyat al-nafs. Now, you cannot have full tazkiyat al-nafs without ikhlas. Ikhlas is what? Sincerity, right? وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. So Allah did not command but to have ikhlas. So we could have all the deeds in the world. It could be the biggest deed in the world, but subhanAllah, if you have no ikhlas, doesn't count, right? إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Right? So Allah, so Prophet ﷺ told us that. So it's very important to have this, ikhlas. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the shaitan knows he's our biggest enemy, but he knows, right? إِلَّا عِبَادِكَ مِنْهُمُ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Like, I can get any of them except those that have ikhlas, right? So it shows kind of the importance of having that. Abu Hurairah asked the Prophet ﷺ, how can we have your intercession on the Day of Judgment? Right? Shifa, yeah. He said, if you say La ilaha illallah with ikhlas, you can have, subhanAllah. Such a simple, beautiful thing. We can all do that. May Allah accept from all of us. So we have the ikhlas. Now we're talking about sidq, honesty. So you have to have honesty of the tongue, honesty of the heart, right? Because nobody knows what's in our heart but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to have, both. Honesty of the tongue, honesty of the heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions several verses about sidq. أَنَّ لَهُمْ قَدْمَ صِدْقٍ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ. قَدْمَ صِدْق, the foot of sidq, right? قدم, everybody knows qadam, right? قَدْمَ صِدْقٍ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ. So that means, this is what you're putting forward of your deeds, right? Or the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam, وَاجْعَلْ لِي لِسَانَ صِدْقٍ فِي الْآخِرِينَ, right? So he's asking for his future generations to have the lisan, the tongue of sidq. And of course, the Prophet ﷺ, when he's entering Medina, everybody knows that in Surah Al-Isra, the dua he make in Surah Al-Isra, وَأَدْخِلْنِي مُدْخَلَ صِدْقٍ وَأَخْرِجْنِي مُخْرَجَ صِدْقٍ. So let me enter with sidq and leave with sidq. So subhanAllah, we have the foot of sidq, the tongue of sidq, entering and exiting with sidq, right? It's always about that honesty, subhanAllah. So just make sure we have, the truthful with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and with ourselves, in there. How are we on the time?
5 plus 2.
No, I'm good. Okay, so when we talk about sidq, there's an ayah in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says is the reward for those that have sidq. What is it? End of Surah Al-Qamar. Shaykh, this guy's like, في مقعد صدق عند مليك مقتدر. So you have a throne. Imagine, guys, just think with me. A throne of sidq in front of Rabbul Alameen. Subhanallah, what can we ask more than that? And just for being honest and truthful. So we talked about the tazkiyah, we talked about having the ikhlas, we talked about having sidq. But what do you need? You need knowledge, right? Again, many verses in the Quran about knowledge. But subhanAllah, if you don't know what Allah likes or what He doesn't, what He dislikes, without the knowledge, you'll be like the Nasara, right? وَلَضَّالِينَ. They probably were very sincere with what they do. Not the Nasara of these days, but back then. They went to the extreme, right? We're talking about the alone time with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But what did they do? They turned into what? Monasticism. Everybody knows what monasticism is? This is like being like a hermit, where you're just focused strictly on worship. Seclusion all the time. Not just in tahajjud, all the time. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? وَرَهْبَانِيَّةً ابْتَدَعُوهَا مَا كَتَبْنَاهَا عَلَيْهِمْ. Right? This monasticism, they invented this. We didn't prescribe this for them, right? So that's subhanAllah, yani Islam teaches us to have the balance, between this. It's not just strictly worship, or Bani Israel is the opposite, right? They had the knowledge, but no sincerity, right? Look, subhanAllah, we see it now, what's happening. They lie about everything, everything. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, وَيَقُولُونَ عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبَ وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. If they're going to lie about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're not going to lie about some Palestinians and the flower massacre and how all these people died and they were, Allah yantaqim minhum. So again, there's a few verses, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهِ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء, right? So those that will have the fear of Allah, the ones that have the knowledge, so they know what Allah likes and what He dislikes. And there's another beautiful verse, وَلِيَعْلَمَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمِ, right? So those that have ilm, أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّكَ, so the haqq is from Allah, فَيُؤْمِنُ بِهِ, so they will, right? فَيُؤْمِنُ بِهِ فَتُخْبِتُ لَهُمْ قُلُوبُهُم, صح? فَتُخْبِتَ لَهُمْ قُلُوبُهُم. Yeah. So they will know this is the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will believe in it, and their hearts will be humbled. So that comes with the knowledge. So without the knowledge, we'll not be able to do that. We don't want to be like, what a So I will say, I have a few things I would just say about having love for love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we really won't have that rejuvenation of the soul if we don't get that love from Allah that we have for Him and He has for us. In several ways that we can do that. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ, right? So those that believe have strong love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَنْ يَرْتَدَّ مِنْكُمْ عَنْ دِينِهِ فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِي So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who believe, so if you would not love, He'll bring another group that will He'll love them and they will love Him back. So now I'm going to give you a couple practical things how we can gain the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So first and foremost, we need to do the fara'id. That's the basic. Everybody, we need to do the basic. But how do we gain that closer love in Allah, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to love us more? Increasing in the nawafil, right? More nawafil, that brings us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That'll do that. Second thing, we have to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as our example. قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ, right? وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. So you want to have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, follow the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Third, we mentioned, having that on your tongue, the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the dhikr, and of course the best of those is the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran. Next, we need to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has more than 99 names, but we need to know the 99 names of Allah, know His attributes. I got 2 minutes, right? And I'm going to be right on time, it looks like. So we need to know, to have love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can we love Him if we don't know Him, right? So we have these 99 names. We need to know them, study them, and practice, know that love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We said, of course, having that quality time, the seclusion time, you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, crying, whatever you want to ask, thanking Him, just having that time, that'll increase the love. Then Anas ibn Malik asked, so that's the 2 minutes already? Wow, that was a fast 2 minutes. So be with those يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا مع الصادقين, right? So be with those that are truthful, be with those that are righteous, be with those that are going to bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and increase that love. Study the verses in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you Allah yuhibbul sabirin, Allah yuhibbul muhsinin, Allah yuhibbul muttaqin, Allah yuhibbul tawabin wa yuhibbul mutatahhirin, subhanallah. And then know the verses in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah la yuhibbul fasad, la yuhibbul dhalibin. So just study those verses where Allah tells you what He likes and what He dislikes, just be familiar with those. And then there's one last dua I'll finish. Everybody should memorize it. Maybe we all already know it, but the Prophet ﷺ said, Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbak. So Allah, I ask you for your love. وحب من يحبك and وحب عملا يقربنا إلى حبك. So Allah, I'll ask for you, right? Right?
It's okay.
Yeah, something.
وحب عمل.
وحب عمل يقربنا إلى
There's a
حبك.
fatha.
Yeah, there's fatha.
Yeah, he doesn't
Well, I know,
like the tashkil, the wrong
he's-
tashkil.
I know, this is my nahu teacher. Yeah. He's there. So yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I ask for the love. I ask for your love. I ask for the love of those you love and deeds that will bring me closer to your love. You know? أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. Am I? How's good, right?
Amazing.
That's good. I'm on time.
Long time.